March 18, 2021. At exactly 3:12 a.m., the patient bed inside room 412 registered movement. The hospital system logged it as a standard event. Weight detected. Position change. Someone sitting on the bed. But according to the hospital records, room 412 had been empty for nearly 3 weeks. No patient assigned. No overnight nurse scheduled for that wing. And the entire ward had been closed during renovation planning. The hospital was St. Augustine Medical Center, a mid-sized facility located on the outskirts of Denver. 4 main patient floors. An emergency department. And a long medical ward on the 4th floor that had been temporarily shut down earlier that year. The wing contained 12 patient rooms. Room 401 through 412. The hospital administration had sealed the ward after a plumbing issue damaged several walls. Until repairs were completed, no patients were allowed inside that section of the building. Lights remained on for safety. But the rooms were empty. Except for the equipment that had been left behind. Hospital beds. Heart monitors. Nurse call systems. And the bed pressure sensors installed in every patient bed. These sensors were designed to detect patient movement. When someone sits on the bed, the system sends a signal to the nurse station. Normally, it alerts staff that a patient may be attempting to stand or move without assistance. At 3:12 a.m. on March 18, the system recorded one of those alerts. Room 412. Bed sensor activated. The alert appeared briefly on the hospital monitoring software used by the overnight technical staff. The technician on duty that night was Laura Bennett. 34 years old. Hospital monitoring specialist. Her job was to supervise building systems overnight. Security feeds. Fire alarms. Medical alert networks. Laura noticed the alert appear on her screen. Room 412. Bed sensor activation. At first she assumed it was a software error. Closed rooms sometimes triggered occasional sensor glitches when equipment had not been powered down correctly. But something about the alert seemed unusual. Because the system didn't register a single signal. It recorded 2 events. First, weight detected. Then, position shift. Exactly the same pattern produced when a person sits down on a hospital bed. Laura opened the equipment dashboard to review the room status. The system confirmed the ward was closed. No staff assigned. No patient admitted. She checked the building access logs. No one had entered the 4th floor west ward that night. Still, the alert remained visible on the log. 3:12 a.m. Bed sensor activation. Room 412. Laura decided to check the security camera. There was a hallway camera positioned outside the ward entrance. The footage showed the corridor completely empty. No staff walking through. No maintenance workers. Nothing. Just the quiet hospital hallway under fluorescent lights. The door to the ward remained closed. Laura assumed the event had been a temporary glitch. She cleared the alert and continued monitoring the system. But the next night, at 3:12 a.m. again, the same alert appeared. Room 412. Bed sensor activation. This time Laura opened the security camera immediately. The hallway outside the ward was still empty. But when she checked the internal equipment logs, the system showed something different. The sensor inside the bed wasn't just detecting weight. It was detecting movement. As if someone had shifted their position while sitting. In an empty hospital room. Laura reported the issue to the hospital maintenance supervisor the following morning. At first the staff believed the problem was mechanical. Old hospital beds sometimes malfunctioned. Sensors can become unstable when equipment sits unused for long periods. But the maintenance team discovered something strange when they inspected the bed. The sensor system was functioning perfectly. No wiring issues. No calibration errors. And no damage to the bed frame. Yet the system logs clearly showed that someone, or something, had activated the bed sensor. At 3:12 a.m. 2 nights in a row. And the pattern was about to repeat again. March 20, 2021. After the second alert from room 412, the hospital maintenance department began reviewing the equipment more carefully. At first, the assumption remained simple. A malfunction. The bed sensor system inside each patient bed relied on pressure plates installed beneath the mattress. When weight was applied to the mattress surface, the plates sent signals to the hospital monitoring network. Those signals were extremely precise. The system could detect when a patient sat down, shifted position, or stood up. But the equipment inside room 412 had not been used in weeks. The ward was closed. The room lights remained on for safety, but no staff had entered the area since the plumbing repairs began. Still, the logs showed something unmistakable. 2 nights. 2 alerts. Both at 3:12 a.m. Both from the same bed. Maintenance technician Robert Diaz was assigned to inspect the equipment. Diaz had worked with hospital bed systems for nearly 10 years. He knew the equipment well. On the afternoon of March 20th, he entered the closed ward with a supervisor. The hallway inside the ward was quiet. Rows of empty patient rooms lined the corridor. Room 412 sat at the far end. The door opened easily. Inside, the room looked exactly as it had been left weeks earlier. Hospital bed positioned beside the window. Heart monitor on standby. Bedside table. Medical chair. Nothing appeared disturbed. Diaz examined the bed sensor system. He disconnected the mattress and inspected the pressure plates beneath it. Everything appeared normal. No damage. No loose wiring. No corrosion. He connected his diagnostic device to the bed's monitoring port. The system log confirmed the alerts. March 18, 3:12 a.m. Weight detected. Movement registered. March 19, 3:12 a.m. Weight detected. Movement registered. Diaz tested the sensor himself. He sat briefly on the mattress. Immediately the monitoring system recorded the same pattern. Weight. Movement. Position shift. Exactly what the system had logged earlier that week. But Diaz noticed something else. The weight reading stored in the logs. Each alert included a rough estimate of applied pressure. Not a full body weight measurement, but enough to approximate the load placed on the mattress. Diaz checked the values carefully. Then he paused. The readings from both nights were nearly identical. Roughly 160 pounds of pressure applied to the mattress. Almost exactly the weight of an adult person sitting on the edge of the bed. Diaz reported the numbers to the supervisor. At this point the hospital administrators decided to monitor the room overnight. They did not believe the event was paranormal. But they wanted to determine the cause of the repeated alerts. Security arranged a camera installation inside room 412. A small motion camera was mounted in the corner of the room facing the bed. The camera would record continuously through the night. Meanwhile, the hallway camera remained active outside the ward entrance. 2 security guards were assigned to monitor the feeds from the hospital security office. The test began the following night. March 21st. At 2:45 a.m., the security office confirmed that no one had entered the 4th floor ward. The hallway camera showed the door closed. Inside room 412, the bed remained empty. The camera view displayed the hospital room clearly. White walls. Closed blinds over the window. The mattress untouched. The security guards watched the feed quietly. Nothing happened. At 3:11 a.m., the room remained still. Then the clock changed. 3:12 a.m. The system alert triggered. Room 412. Bed sensor activation. The monitoring software registered weight applied to the mattress. At the exact same moment, the camera inside the room recorded something unusual. The mattress surface compressed slightly. The indentation appeared on the edge of the bed, as if someone had just sat down. But the camera showed no one there. The guards replayed the moment immediately. Frame by frame. The mattress dipped downward. The fabric creased under pressure. The exact movement produced when someone sits. But no figure appeared in the frame. The indentation lasted approximately 4 seconds. Then the mattress slowly returned to its original position. The bed sensor log recorded the second event. Movement shift. Exactly like the previous nights. The guards checked the hallway camera again. Still empty. No one had entered the ward. No one had left it. But the bed inside room 412 had just registered the weight of a person sitting on it. And the camera had recorded the mattress moving, without anyone visible in the room. By the next morning, the hospital administration realized the incident might not be a simple equipment malfunction. Because when the system logs were analyzed more carefully, they revealed something even stranger. The alerts from room 412 had not started on March 18th. That was simply the first time anyone noticed them. The system archive showed the same alert pattern appearing earlier. Several nights earlier. Every single one of them recorded at 3:12 a.m. March 23, 2021. By the time hospital administrators reviewed the complete system archive, the situation surrounding room 412 had changed from a technical issue to a full investigation. The bed sensor had not activated twice. Or even 3 times. The records showed the same alert pattern repeating 7 consecutive nights. Each event occurred at exactly 3:12 a.m. Every alert followed the same sequence. First signal, weight detected. Second signal, position shift. As if someone had sat down on the bed. And then adjusted their position. Yet every time the room was inspected, the bed was empty. The hospital administration decided to conduct one final controlled test. This time the room would be monitored more closely. 2 cameras would record inside the room. One positioned in the upper corner of the ceiling. The second placed near the doorway, pointed directly at the hospital bed. A pressure logging device was connected directly to the bed sensor system to record precise weight measurements. Security officers were assigned to remain inside the 4th floor corridor throughout the night. If anyone entered the ward, they would immediately see it. The test began on the evening of March 23. At 2:30 a.m., security confirmed the ward was completely empty. Room 412 was inspected thoroughly. The mattress remained flat. The bed sheets undisturbed. No objects had been placed on the mattress that could trigger the pressure plates. The room door remained open. Both cameras recorded continuously. At 2:58 a.m., the hospital remained quiet. The hallway lights reflected across the polished floor of the closed ward. The security officers waited outside the room. At 3:10 a.m., nothing had changed. The bed remained empty. The mattress flat. The cameras showed no movement inside the room. At 3:11 a.m., the monitoring software displayed the sensor status on the laptop connected to the bed. No pressure detected. Then the clock changed. 3:12 a.m. The sensor triggered. Weight detected. The laptop screen displayed the incoming measurement instantly. Approximately 158 pounds of pressure applied to the mattress. The same value recorded during previous nights. At that exact moment, both cameras recorded the same event. The mattress compressed. The indentation appeared along the edge of the bed. The sheets tightened around the depression. As if a person had just sat down. But no one appeared in the camera frame. The pressure remained on the mattress for nearly 6 seconds. Then the sensor logged the second event. Position shift. The indentation moved slightly. Exactly the same pattern produced when someone adjusts their weight while sitting. The security officer stepped into the room immediately. The mattress returned to its original position as they approached the bed. The pressure reading on the laptop dropped to 0. No one stood beside the bed. No one sat on it. The room was empty. The officers checked every corner. Behind the door. Inside the bathroom. Under the bed frame. Nothing. The test was repeated the following night. March 24th. Once again the room was monitored. Once again the ward remained empty. And once again, at 3:12 a.m., the bed sensor activated. The cameras recorded the mattress compressing. The pressure system logged the weight. And the indentation appeared exactly where a person would normally sit. But during the final test, something else appeared on the recording. Something the previous cameras had not captured clearly. In the final camera frame, just before the mattress compressed, the hospital bed sheet moved slightly. Not downward, but outward. As if something invisible had just approached the edge of the bed. Then the indentation appeared. The pressure reading reached 160 pounds. The movement shift occurred. And the mattress returned to normal seconds later. The hospital administrators shut down the test immediately. The indentation lasted approximately 4 seconds. Then the mattress slowly returned to its original position. The bed sensor log recorded the second event. Movement shift. Exactly like the previous nights. The guards checked the hallway camera again. Still empty. No one had entered the ward. No one had left it. But the bed inside room 412 had just registered the weight of a person sitting on it. And the camera had recorded the mattress moving. Without anyone visible in the room. By the next morning, the hospital administration realized the incident might not be a simple equipment malfunction. Because when the system logs were analyzed more carefully, they revealed something even stranger. The alerts from room 412 had not started on March 18th. That was simply the first time anyone noticed them. The system archive showed the same alert pattern appearing earlier. Several nights earlier. Every single one of them recorded at 3:12 a.m. March 23, 2021. By the time hospital administrators reviewed the complete system archive, the situation surrounding room 412 had changed from a technical issue to a full investigation. The bed sensor had not activated twice. Or even 3 times. The records showed the same alert pattern repeating 7 consecutive nights. Each event occurred at exactly 3:12 a.m. Every alert followed the same sequence. First signal, weight detected. Second signal, position shift. As if someone had sat down on the bed. And then adjusted their position. Yet every time the room was inspected, the bed was empty. The hospital administration decided to conduct one final controlled test. This time the room would be monitored more closely. 2 cameras would record inside the room. One positioned in the upper corner of the ceiling. The second placed near the doorway, pointed directly at the hospital bed. A pressure logging device was connected directly to the bed sensor system to record precise weight measurements. Security officers were assigned to remain inside the 4th floor corridor